In the previous videos, we looked at creating a pattern brush, but what happens if you want to create just an ordinary brush that isn't a pattern when you wipe over the screen? So what I tend to do is that I tend to get one of the original images which I've zoomed into, and I then run it again through shape so that it makes it a little bit sharper. Let's pull in our previous shape. So here it is, and now it's a little bit sharper than it was before, so I'm going to say yes. In fact, I'm going to get rid of all the patterns around the edge because it's the only the center pattern that I actually want. So I'm going to put it up, and I'm just going to wipe away all the others because I just want the center pattern. I say done, and let's see, I might smooth it a bit more. Yeah, that's fine. And then I save, go back in there, and I save to camera roll. So let's pull that back into Procreate. So it's add, insert a photo, and there we have it. Now if we have a look, if we just put that off, that's what it looked like before, and now that we put it through shape again, it's much sharper. But we want it to fill the whole screen. So we go up to the arrow. First of all, let's just make it a little bit smaller so we can see it. Go up to the arrow and then just pull it out and push your fingers out to get it more or less in the middle. Because you want it to almost take up the whole square. Switch off the arrow. So now what we need to do is copy that. So we go to the wrench, we go to copy, we go to the brush, we make sure that our library is selected, and I'm going to do one from scratch. And this time we don't put the picture in the grain, we put it in the shape. So I'm going to say edit, import, and paste. It didn't happen. Edit, import, paste. There we go. And then done, done. Now this is where it's important to get your stroke path right. So I'm going to put it on, I find about 45, but let's see. There we go, we might need a little bit more. So now if I increase the spacing, I'm going to do, so it's just a little bit apart, and I'm going to do it streamline so that it's straight. Also, we want to go and change the properties. So we want to make it much bigger, and we'll make the minimum size small. And I'm going to call this stamp pattern, because we're going to use this for sort of stamping rather than for creating a uniform pattern. So say done. And now I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to switch the other layers off, just the background layer on. I'm going to just change the color, red. So what you can do with this is do really nice borders, straight lines, or you can just dot it all over the place. But I'm going to start off by showing you how to make a straight line. So I run my finger along and I hold my finger down, and then what I can do is I can line it up. Now that's a little bit too big for me, so I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to do a little bit smaller and do it again. So run it along, hold my finger down, And now I can decide exactly how long or how short I want it. So let's make it like that. And you can actually go and edit, so you can decide exactly how you want it across, whatever. Let's keep it like that. And then I'm actually going to duplicate that. And unfortunately, once you've gone out of that shape edit, you can't actually go back to editing a shape. Well, not that I know of. Let's just reset that. Okay. Take magnetic off. Go to tap to get it exactly right. And then put the arrow off. And then I'm going to just delete this first one. So that's how you could make a border. If we just, let's change the color to blue. You can just stamp it, changing the size. Let's create a new, let's switch those, let's delete those. Now if I run my finger over, let's create a new layer. This is what happens. But you could still do some interesting things. If I delete that, create a new, I could create a nice circle with that. What we could do is actually create a complete circle. So let's try that again. I'm going to switch that off, create a new layer. And I'm going to use, firstly, my finger. So I'm going to go round in a circle. And then I keep my finger down. And it's very difficult, actually, to make a complete circle. I'm going to add its shape, and I'm going to call it a circle. But you'll see we've got a little bit of a space there. Let's see, sometimes it's easier to use an Apple Pencil. And what you find with an Apple Pencil is that you get this shaded stamp to start off with. So to get rid of that, you go back into your brush, and one thing I forgot to tell you is that your grain must be a square for this brush to react the way it's reacting. So we go down to our Apple Pencil and we take opacity and we put it down to 0. We say done. So if you put it up, you can see how it's slightly faded. Say done. I'm going to delete that. Create a new layer. And now let's try again with my Apple Pencil. I'm trying to get a little bit more accurate. Still got that. Let's try again. Nope. Great, I think I've got what I want. Now I can edit my shape, tapping on it, go to circle, and I've got a complete circle. And it might take you a while to get that lined up. I mean, if you look at the top, it's still a little bit close to the top, but it's not bad. So there's a stamp brush.